Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfire Tools, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. And by NGK Spark Plugs, ignition parts and sensors for both automotive and non-automotive aftermarket.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Checking out this beautiful new Ford Bronco. Of course, it's designed to drive both on the street and off-road, and that means you're going to need some mud flaps on them. And those are kind of inglorious. Mud flaps, it seems like up until now, Jeff, you'd go to the discount store, you buy the universal mud flap, the one with Yosemite Sam on it or the reclining lady, and those were your choices. But at Truck Hardware, you guys are revolutionizing the mud flap. How are you doing it?
That's exactly right, Dave. We started with the universal mud flap as well 33 years ago, and it was all started with this Gatorback mud flap right here.
This is something you still manufacture, and this would be for the older vehicles and maybe steel-bodied things, and you can...
Exactly, yeah. This is the one where you would install with self-tapping screws. You'd kind of line it up the best you can and pop it in. But nowadays, we've switched into a complete custom fit lineup that doesn't do any damage to the vehicle whatsoever.
And that's your Gatorback line, which we see all different examples here. Now, here's the universal, again, for older vehicles. You have a custom routed one as well, with the hole specifically placed for that model.
Exactly, yep, for all makes and models of new pickup trucks.
And all the new trucks have different fenders, like we see the flares and things on here, a lot of plastics and stuff like that,
yep,
which is what makes Truck Hardware's products great. And so for the GM here, here's another model for the Gatorback.
Yeah, this is actually what we call a mini Gatorback. This is for SUVs and crossovers, you know, like your GMC Terrains, your Chevy Equinoxes, your Ford Escapes, all those smaller vehicles.
You want to protect the paint, and it's perfect for that. Now this one, this is a monster. I'm assuming this is for a dually?
That is a dually.
And boy, is this made solidly.
It sure is.
Yeah. What kind of material do you guys use in your mud flaps?
This is a virgin rubber material, so it's a brand new, never recycled rubber compound.
Excellent. And then we also have, with the routed one here, this is what we have on the Bronco. And it's kind of a two-piece deal. Mm-hmm. Explain to me the bottom part here. If I want to go off-roading, I take that off?
Yeah, exactly. So this is what we call a kickback mud flap. It's designed for trucks with oversized, larger tires, Broncos, any lifted truck, so that when you go to the bigger tires, you're going to have no rubbing issues. You're going to have lots of clearance in the fender well. The mud flap is recessed back away from that tire. But what's really unique about these ones is you can pop these little locking caps off, and the whole mud flap will slide out of its locking channel. That way, when you're going to go off-roading, you take your flap off, you don't have to worry about getting hung up. The bracket stays bolted to the vehicle, and your flap comes off.
That's brilliant.
And when you're ready to go back on the road, you just pop it back on, and you're good to go.
And you get a lot of flexibility, which is what the Bronco's all about.
Yep.
And you get a lot of options as far as style here. This whole area down here is where the plate goes.
Yes, it is.
And depending on your model or what your taste is,
exactly,
how many different options do we have for the plates?
So we're actually licensed with all three major manufacturers, so Mopar, Ford, and General Motors. We offer 70 different personalized plates in all different finishes and logo designs too, so you can customize your vehicle the way you want to.
Now, it's important to mention all of these plates are hand stamped in Canada. And how much your product is actually made there in Canada?
All of it's actually made in Canada. In 2005, we partnered with Precision Designer Manufacturing to produce the Gatorback exclusively for us.
Precision is in their name, so we know the stuff is going to fit. Everything is quality controlled there, and I can attest to it. I put the mud flap on the back of this Bronco, and probably in about 15 minutes you can have both of those on there. Process was simple. We had a couple of pieces of hardware to mount before we put it on the bracket, before we actually put it onto the vehicle. And once we got it in position, we had to drop the toe loop there and place the bracket up between the toe loop and the vehicle, and just tighten the bolts down. If you have a few simple tools and a square, you can line this thing up and you are ready to go. And the thing I like about it is the adjustability. I know you have the flexibility with the style with all the plate, but you also have flexibility if you have different sized tires. It's slotted so you can move it in and out.
Exactly, and actually I think most of our applications are slotted for that exact reason, because you never know exactly if people are going to keep stock tires or not.
I love all your products because you pay so much attention to detail. What kind of things are we talking about when you design a mud flap?
When we design a mud flap, we want to make sure that there is no drilling into the body of the vehicle. We don't want to break the paint of the vehicle. So to avoid that, we produce heavy-duty hardware, we produce special clips, we use all stainless steel hardware so that nothing rusts, there's no dissimilar metals, we use aluminum on aluminum body vehicles. We've also had to go to great lengths recently with the newer trucks because of factory plastic pieces which interfere with the installation of a heavy-duty flap. So this GMC Sierra, as an example, This is a replacement finishing cap, a nice tapered piece that form fits to the factory flare and allows the installation of a heavy-duty mud flap alongside it. For the Chevrolet Silverados, we've had these special body-colored plugs made that snap in from the outside to fill the hole on the fender when you go to install a heavy-duty mud flap.
Trucks are evolving, both the materials and the styles. These guys are evolving with it. You can find hundreds and hundreds of products at truckhardware.ca in Canada, or in the US you can find it all at sharptruck.com. And you can find more Motorhead Garage and more great products when we come back, so stay tuned.